Hey, yo, what it do, what it do? It's your boy, Young the Boy. We here at YTP Entertainment, and I have special guest, Mr. Benjamin Brown. He's a sales coach. He has definitely did some things in the business that will definitely help our people to understand business a lot better. So today we actually going to get it in with Mr. Brown. Mr. Brown, welcome to YTP Entertainment. We're definitely happy to have you. So please,
Welcome it always. Yeah, glad to be here. Glad to give some insights for some people and see if we can help. That's basically what it's all about. Helping.
yes, indeed. So give us some insight on how you um, articulate your business, how you do things.
Well, I moved actually in the last year from a sales coach to a performance coach or like a life coach. Main reason is because most of the people that try to sell, when I teach them, I had a little problem getting them to perform the way I wanted to. And I learned through that progression of years of working with people that I had to learn why people wouldn't sell. And that is due to something in their past, their background, upbringing, things that they were holding them back to do because sales is a performance. So, what is holding you back from performing your best is normally baggage that you have from your past or something of that nature. And in that alignment, you need more than just a sales coach. You need more like a performance coach or a life coach, some people would say. And when I was able to do that for a certain amount of individuals, I would see their performance skyrocket.
Mhm.
Because I would train people because I've been in sales for over 26 years and I was just teaching sales. But in sales is a performance perspective. Are you going to do well? It's not something theory, it's a skill. And sometimes to teach that skill, you have to perform. And when you perform, if you have things hindering you from doing that, you can't do it. So by working with people in a life coach type situation, understanding their pain that everybody's been through, you're able to be extroverted and become a successful salesperson and make more money.
Definitely, definitely. So enlighten our people and let us know the difference between being a sales coach and a performance coach.
Well, the sales coach is theory. I mean, it's sales coach, performance coaches is it's kind of like the same thing, right? The difference that you get with sales and performance coach is that you're getting somebody on the personal side to understand what makes you tick and what needs to make you perform. It's like being a better actor or being a better athlete. You have a coach that knows, he could teach you the techniques that you need to do body wise, but then the performance come in is mental. You have to understand what makes people tick and what makes them motivated to go out and sell. And once you're able to do that, because in all honesty, 80% of sales is confidence.
Uh-huh.
So if you don't have any confidence because you're going to get rejected, it's a numbers game. And if you're not willing to go up against that and you have low self-esteem and you have low value, there's no way you could take that rejection.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of times I've noticed that I've done sales myself, and I was doing sales for AT&T, and
Yeah.
that was U-Burst came out, and it was tough, in the beginning because I was still in that learning phase of accepting, different types of rejections. Because the reason why I say different types because some people are pretty harsh with that no. So if you're not ready, it can pretty much take you out the game, definitely. But
Yeah. Yeah. And that's why a lot of people don't do it or they get into it and quit or they have negative connotation. It's just easy to just go work for somebody. Like,
yeah,
especially if you're working commission only where everything you do counts, right?
yeah, now that's real tough. That is real tough. It is to work commission only. I've done that before too. But I tell you that one of the key things that I learned about sales is the first no is not always a definite no.
It's
That
never,
gotta
it's never.
to be willing to give someone some additional insight about the business, where it's going, what you're gonna do. That way you gain their attention. And once you gain their attention, oh my
Mhm.
goodness, that's when the
Well,
door opening
the
up.
simple part I teach people, you got to do three things at the same time to be a good salesperson, right? So sales is simple, but it's not easy. So you have to be number one, confident. Number two, you have to know exactly where you're going in your sales presentation. Do you have a plan of where you're going, the steps that you need to use? And number three, you have to listen. And you could tell most people, and that confidence comes through on the phone, in person. That other person is watching you, right? And some of the time you realize they didn't buy not because of the product, not because of the problem, but because of the person,
Patient in the person. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, you've been to a car dealership and you like, this guy, I just don't, I'm not
Yeah.
feeling it. And you know that you can go down the road to another dealership of the same type, same car, and I'll go to that guy because I just felt a little better with that, right?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
So,
You have
so you're a problem solver.
mhm.
So you're not, and the thing about it, when you learn sales, the truth is you could use it for good or you could use it for bad.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
most people know the people that used it for bad,
Mhm.
right? But those
Yes.
people that use it for bad are really good salespeople, right? And why? Because they believe in what they're doing.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
And even though they believe in what they're doing and they know it's bad, they believe in it. But then you got people that are doing it, selling something good, but don't believe in it and can't sell it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true too. That
Yeah.
a lot of them look at it as that power of manipulation,
Yeah.
and it's not always about manipulation. It's more so about intriguing that person to a point to where they understand that this is a product that you can actually use. It's not just something that I'm trying to sell you, but this is also something that you can actually use. And it wasn't until I became indifferent that I
Right.
was able to start making sales.
All right. So let me give you a quick lesson because I try to simplify it for people so they can make sense. Okay, so I'm gonna ask you a question. I'm gonna ask you a question. You can give me two answers. Let's see where you at on that, and then I'll tell you. So, very simple. What is the purpose of a sale?
Well, the average person would say to make money. I would say to sell products.
So
Okay.
when a kid comes up to you and asks you to pick them up, that's a sale.
Mhm.
So a sale has nothing to do with money. A sale has nothing to do with monetary or product, right?
Okay.
It's simpler than that. So that's where people get complicated. So the purpose of a sale is to get somebody to move.
Okay.
You go online, they want you to click on this,
Mhm.
touch this, sign this up, pick up the phone, call this, click this, go to this store. It's a bunch of simple movements. Click on this link, go here, fill this out, put your card here. Look at this. It's a number. Can you hear me? Call this number. Call this number. Call this number. It is a simple step of many little steps to make you move. Children have a sales pitch, and all it is closing.
Yeah.
They close. They ask, ask, ask. They don't care what it's in for you. They don't care what it is about for you. It's all about them. So what we teach our children in the West is that's rude to ask like that, right? So from K through college, your muscle atrophies because in the West, if you can't afford it, you don't buy it. In
Exactly.
other countries, you negotiate all the time. You go into the market in a third world country, second world country, there's no prices on the stuff. You have to negotiate.
Yeah.
So what happens when people go from college to a job and then they start their own businesses? They learn that they have to go back to selling because you now have a product or service, but you haven't done it in so long, your sales muscle has atrophied. So everybody is a natural born salesperson. If I put you on the street today with no food and no water, you will sell yourself into something to get something to eat.
Definitely.
Here, here's an analogy I teach, something that people don't understand. Makes sense. So I have four of the best people in salespeople in the United States. One of them is a child, and I told you why. They just closed, right? So the fourth one that I have is a homeless person. Do you know how much a homeless person on the street that has a good mind and work in a good area on a good street corner, do you know how much they could make per day?
According to statistics that I've read, the average homeless person that fits the criteria, they can make anywhere from 100 to $1,000 per day.
Yeah. Now, there's businesses out there. I ask when I sit down with them, when I tell them the story, I said, how much are you pulling in a day? They're not pulling. Now, I said, look what you have. You have a cell phone, fax machine, computers, probably an office, website, business cards, social media, accounting, got all this stuff going on. I said, but you're not making $1,000 a day. That homeless person is making between, about $300 to $700 a day. What is the difference between you and that person?
It's definitely your closer. It's definitely that.
That homeless person, the persona that they have is that they're focused. They're not worried about their parents. They're not worried about their kids. They don't worry about what you say to them. They're not worried about what people tell them. They're not worried about what people pick. They're not worried about rejection.
Yeah.
They're not worried about nothing. They're focused on the dollar because they need either food, clothing, alcohol, or drugs. That want gives you the ability to be totally focused.
Yeah.
That person, that homeless person, now that you have all of this stuff that you have going on, you're not pulling down $1,000 a day, right? The homeless person is pulling, $700 a day, beating your butt, right?
Yeah.
Here's the deal. What's your first name?
Yellow. YEHLOE.
Yellow. What is the homeless person when you give the homeless person the money? What do you get in return?
Thank you most of the time.
What do
It's
you get?
that body language, that form of gratitude. I always see those things too.
What do you get in return for giving your money?
I mean, financially, nothing.
Nothing.
Right.
So the homeless person, you got products, you got service, you're trying to go out there and to make the money and all this kind of stuff. You have a product or service. You're not making $700 a day. This person is going out there selling, making $700 a day, have no social media, have none of these tools that you have, and making $700 a day, and they're selling absolutely what?
Themselves.
Nothing. They have no product.
Right. It's just
You,
themselves.
so how is it that a person could do that from nothing and you can't do it with the tools?
Yeah, that's intriguing. That's definitely a good one. I like that.
Yeah. And they have no overhead. They have no mortgage. They have no electric. They go sit under the tree and go chill. You
Exactly.
sit in traffic trying to get to work, trying to figure out how you're gonna pay that mortgage.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. I like
Yes.
that. I like that. That is a beautiful concept. I was also reading um in your profile where you have the 10-step process that
Right.
you mentioned. I like that. So how do you implement this 10-step process?
So there's 10 steps in every sale,
Okay.
but every company don't need all 10 steps depending on what you're doing. Say, for example, the gym business, there's 10 steps, but the gym business uses five: need, use, affordability, spouse, guest pass.
Okay.
So every time I work with the individuals, first thing I ask them, or start working with people, I said, what is your sales process? Most people can't tell me. How do you supposed to reproduce it or teach somebody else to do it if you don't have a sales process?
Right.
How are you going to improve it? How do you know when it's going wrong? All they know is that I'm making money, not making money. And most businesses lean toward the low-hanging fruit. What's going to get me the easiest customer without any abrasiveness, right? So when I come in there and I tell them we're going to pick up the phone and we're going to start making some calls, they start freaking out. I just do email campaigns.
Oh my goodness.
We're going to get on the phone. Yeah, you're going to make way more money. How you going to do that? You're going to get on the phone. I never done that before. You in business?
Right.
You know,
That's a concept right there. You done just started something.
I came in one business one time. I came in there and I said, I want you to pull out the last 5 people that you sold. And when I get down there, they got down there. I said, okay. I said, here's what we're going to do. We're going to call them and we're going to ask them to either upsell or we're going to ask for a referral. 6 months later, they're doing 40% more easily just by that technique alone because they never asked.
Exactly. That's awesome.
So the difference between a good and a great salesperson is the number of questions that you ask. And most people are not asking enough questions.
That's true too. That is definitely true.
And that takes confidence to do that, right? Because you might not get what you want back. But if you're prepared and you've been through it enough times, you will understand where they're going before they're telling you. So there's no reason for fear.
Exactly. Exactly. Turn that fear into understanding.
Or what you call it, indifference.
Yeah, because I was being very indifferent.
Right.
And my coach was like, it's like you're so indifferent. Like if they get it, fine. If they don't get it, fine. It's like
You got to keep going. It's a numbers game. The fact of sales is a numbers game. You're not going to land every time. You're going to have to go through rejection. And most people, they've never been rejected.
right.
So they don't know how to ask.
That is so true. That is so true. And one thing I learned too, he was telling me that a lot of times being so indifferent, you make the people wonder. Like some people actually called us back, like, okay, look, tell me again how this works. And I was just like I started telling them. And then we ran into one lady who was okay. First we ran into the husband because he was the one that answered the door. We were doing door to door.
Right.
He answered the door, and when he answered the door, I gave him the spiel, the whole pitch and everything that AT&T want us to start off with. And then he was asking me questions. I started explaining the product and everything. So he was like, well, let me get my wife. I was like, okay, no problem. So we stood there. About a minute later, his wife comes to the door. She was like, you can't sell me. I'm a lawyer. I was like, okay. Like, really? Okay.
I tell her right there. That let me know right there. She's easy to sell.
Exactly. And that's how I felt too. I felt like, hey, well, you'll be getting this product real soon, but I didn't say it out loud. I just thought it to myself, kept it to myself. Like, yeah, okay, you'll be getting this product real soon. And really, really try to play tough. But a lot of lawyers don't understand that you're not the only person that learns psychology. I majored in psychology in college. I had 4 years of psychology. So at the end of the day, when you get done playing, it's about who's more articulate in that psychological process than the other
Right.
person.
Right.
And she purchased.
I love lawyers and also lawyers and people that have masters and PhDs.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Because they automatically think that they're more intelligent, which they might be, but sometimes that intelligence can be a disadvantage. Too much knowledge is not good.
Yeah. Yeah. I think what they fail to realize is you're only intelligent in a particular area.
Yes.
That's what that PhD taught you. That's what that master's degree taught you. I have a master's degree. I mean, not master. I have a bachelor's degree, and I still don't see myself to be an expert in the area in which I have my degree in, which is
Right,
business management.
right.
I still feel like there's a bunch of things that I can still learn about business management. And since I've been out here in the world, I've learned a lot more in the world than I have in school. So all
Yep.
those years of college, for what?
When they're talking about the negativity of college, how guys are not going to college and stuff like that, like, you can make more money. You can take that money, invest it in a business, and learn your way through and way more money than getting a degree and then coming out with student loans, right?
Right. Exactly. That's what you're doing. You're coming out being in more debt than you was when you first got there. Because that's really all it is. And I'm
Yep.
seeing entrepreneurs who were freelance entrepreneurs at that, who came out, they got out of high school, they attempted to do college, dropped out within the first couple of months, which means they didn't have to pay after that, and ended up being millionaires. So you tell me that you have to go to college in order to become successful. Sorry, that's cliche.
Yeah. Yep. Time. Yeah. I totally agree with that. Because the hard knocks of life, because when you that theory, college is theory. Real life is a whole nother deal, no matter what you majoring in.
Yes, indeed.
You
Yes,
gotta
indeed.
deal with real people. And they're crazy. So
That is true. I spent a lot of time in the retail industry after doing sales for so long, and I got to the point where I became the manager of the Perfume Mania, and now Perfume Mania does sales and commission. So I was able to make money both ways, and it was a lot of fun being in that industry because you meet so many different types of people, and oh my goodness, the just having good customer service is one thing, but when you have impeccable customer service, it really makes a difference.
yeah,
It
yeah,
does.
yeah.
And I had fun up in there because I met a lot of people, celebrities, just your everyday Joe Smo, your upper class, middle class, lower class people. And that's the beauty about Perfume Mania. They had something for everybody. The price
Right,
was so outrageous that no one could come in there and afford something
right. Yeah. That's awesome.
else in that. It taught me a lot because I had never done this sales plus commission before AT&T. So that was a different environment because we were door to door, but then
Right.
sales commission inside of an actual brick and mortar, it was a little bit different.
Yeah.
But
I
it was,
feel you.
it really was. It was fun. So um, tell me, what are some of the best techniques that a person can use to actually increase their revenue?
Well, it depends on what they're doing wrong first. I'm a problem solver. So most of the time when I work with companies or individuals, I'm trying to find out the first thing that they're doing wrong that brings in revenue. Because what I introduce into my program when I do the interview, I like to for the new client to pay for me.
Mhm.
So what I teach you will bring you in revenue, and it doesn't hurt your pocket because you're bringing in extra revenue.
Right.
So say for example, I come in and we check your database. You don't have a database, or you don't have an operable database, or you're not using that properly. Like there's different ways you can use a database. We can go directly there and pull money from your database because you already have people that you already should know, like, and trust,
Right.
right? Then there's performance issues. You're not selling. So the main thing working with me is that you get the role playing.
Mhm.
So that is really key because it's a skill, and it's a skill that's hand taught me. So you never practice on your potential clients. So most people are not successful in sales is because the company have not give the sales rep enough tools to be successful. Their
Right.
training is not as good, right? You get that all the time. How long are your training? 2 days. Okay. And they destroy you to the wolves. And then, if you can't make it, they rotate, right? And then people go from job to job to job and they realize, they don't have the right. But if you give the sales rep the right training to be successful, you shouldn't have to. It saves you money, but most companies don't know how to train because most of the people that hire salespeople are not salespeople.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah,
So
but
the only one that can hire salespeople is salespeople, because if you don't know salespeople, when you hire them, there's one thing a salesperson can do is get a job, because they can sell themselves,
right.
but they might not be able to sell your product.
So let me ask you this too. Theories that I learned in sales, it was called the Me Too theory. Is that theory still alive today?
Explain it.
So when you're doing your pitch and you are becoming a little more interpersonal and engaging with your customer, they have what was called the Me Too theory. So if you ask them like, hey, what's one of your favorite foods? And they be like, well, I like mashed potatoes and gravy more than I like anything. Like, oh wow, me too.
Me too.
That's like
So, so in my sales process, step number 3 is called connect and relate.
uh-huh.
So before you even get into the qualification, you learn to connect and relate. That could be on a vastness of different things. That could be college, school, the state you're from, the city you're at, the weather, the sports team you like, religion, which you try to stay away from politics and religion. And then you open them up to that because people buy from people they know, like, and trust. So the first thing you want to establish is some type of connection with them, because the questions that you're going to ask in my process is going to be a little stronger than just a fly by night type sales pitch where you just la-di-da and conversationally get towards the close. Because one of the biggest things that you have in sales is the biggest thing you don't have a lot of is time.
Uh-huh.
So talking to people who you cannot help, you need to figure that out in my process very efficiently. So you're not spending a lot of time and hoping and wishing and thinking and maybe praying this person is going to do it. You ask enough questions that when you hang the phone up, you have no unreasonable doubt that you couldn't help them.
Yes.
And you move on, but you do that up front before you even get into a presentation. Most
Yeah.
people just get to the presentation and run with it, and the presentation is going to sell it.
Nah.
There's no guarantees in that,
No.
right? So you're pitching all day. By 3 o'clock, you're exhausted.
That's true.
They ask you, how many pitches did you do? I did 80 pitches. How many people you sold? But by probably 57 pitches or higher, you've been burnt out.
That's true. That is
So
true.
if you didn't have to do 87 pitches a day, you only had to do maybe 30 because you qualified them properly, and you connected and related to understand with them to ask them the difficult question. Is this what you're looking for? No. Okay, no problem, because the customer's not going to tell you nothing, especially if he likes you. He's just being entertained. They'll just continue the conversation.
That's true. That's true. You got some of the people which I
Yeah, they're
learned.
getting their value, talking about the weather. You just sitting up there hoping and wishing.
Yeah.
15 minutes later, they still talking, and you like, man, this person, they really like me. Yeah, but are they gonna buy your product? No.
No.
Next thing you know, the clock is, you look, man, I've been on the phone for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Get your
That is.
check at the end of the week, and the manager goes, you sure like to talk a lot.
Oh my goodness,
You're
that is
not
so.
selling, but you like to talk a lot.
You like to talk over like, hey, you when you get finished, you let me know.
You know,
That's what you talk about.
ready to go to work.
That is so crazy. That's one of the things we did too. We made sure that we didn't do our pitch up front. The only thing
Yeah.
that we do is that, like, we had a opening pitch that we would do, and then your closing pitch is when you know for certain that okay, either I got this person or this person is not going to buy anything. You did your closing pitch and you kept it moving.
Right.
That was it. There
That's
was no
it.
sitting there waiting, and you can pretty much feel like I had one lady, and her husband were both retired, didn't have anything else to do. They just love for the salesman to come over. They invite him in. They gave him whatever, like snacks, a cookie, a drink, and stuff like that. And the lady would say it like, "I enjoy having you all come over. You are the only guest that we ever have." And I was like, I'm like, what? I said, you know what? I did
So
my close.
here's the deal you got to understand. This will help you. Somebody's always buying, somebody's always selling. So as a salesman, if you're not selling, then you're buying.
Uh-huh. Pretty much.
Somebody. So she sold you on coming to the house.
Right.
You bought it. You bought it.
Hey. That was just crazy though. That was too crazy.
Yeah.
My first time
So
ever experiencing
you,
that.
you think about that, like, am I buying? Am I selling? Come on over. Like, why? I would have been like, so if I come over and I give you a good product at a good price, is there anything holding us back from moving forward when I get there? No, we just like to have people come over. Well, I would love to, and I thanks for the invitation, but I really gonna have to decline. And you moved on. You saved yourself hours.
They, with us, everything was all cold sales, but it was straight to the door. We never got a chance to talk to the customer over the phone.
Mm,
The phone call was actually handled by somebody else in
a
customer.
fronter.
Yeah. So after they give us the paperwork, we
Yeah,
do
the
addresses.
lead. You go there, and your job is to get inside to do the presentation.
Yeah. And I was
And
just
you were like you were what they call that, the Venus flytrap.
like yes, indeed.
They talking about we got him, got him.
Hey Johnny, here's one right here. We got him.
Go make some coffee. You want
Yeah.
some coffee?
They offered all types of stuff too.
Yeah. You like, oh, that's nice.
And we were in Georgia. That's the crazy part. It was so hot. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. It was so hot out there. Like, the heat was murder. We got paving it. We out there walking the pavement like crazy trying to get it.
Found in the pavement, dog. I know what you mean. Been there. Been
Oh
there.
goodness. So I love the fact that you are in sales. This is something that I got a bunch of fans who were actually talking about because we did another podcast on the finance and people learning how to budget their finances. And the
Right.
lady she did a really good job on teaching the people how to, budget their finances. And I think some of the people actually went on and actually accepted her services. And I'm loving this because this is another opportunity to give them a financial view on how to make more money, especially for a lot of people like um, ever since Barack Obama was in office, it's like entrepreneurship has skyrocketed.
Yeah. Mark Cuban said the first thing you need to learn when you own your own business is learn how to sell.
Yeah. Yes.
People start off like oh, I need to work on my logo. Logo don't pay bills. You need to go out there and start selling. I need to set up my website. I said, have you sold anything yet? I said,
Exactly.
you know, it's crazy. I mean, entrepreneurship is crazy. So, I tell people you got to sell it. If you
Yes.
can't sell it, how are you going to bring salespeople in when you grow it? And how are you going to teach them how things are done at your company if you don't do them yourself? You know, so that's why people always love. Can you come work for me? I'm like, no, it's your company. I'll come in and fix it. I have my own company.
Exactly.
I work for one company that started with me 2 years ago, and I do a couple phone calls for her a day. It doesn't take a lot of my time. It's a book company, and so I've had my own book. It's called Master the Art of Closing the Sale. It's on Amazon. So
Yes.
Master the Art of Closing the Sale by Benjamin Brown. And what I do is talk to authors trying to get their books published. So I've already been through it. It's the easiest pitch in the world because I have to tell them what not to do.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of things that you could do when you try to publish your book and you get told everything. And so I take like a couple of phone calls for her, and I've been doing that for a couple of years, and she pays me commission. But everybody else I work for $1 million companies, they always like, do you like to come aboard? And I'm like, when people ask me that, that means I'm doing a good job.
Exactly. Yes,
Yeah.
indeed. So tell us, what are some of the things that you encountered doing stock brokerage?
Well, what happened is stock brokerage got into the place because I was in cold calling sales, phone sales, and it's all the same, whether
Okay.
it's stock brokerage or whether it's software. When you're doing outbound cold calling,
Uh,
that's where I cut my teeth at years ago, many years ago. I
gotcha.
started in sales. Well, we just had a phone and a black notebook. That was it. We had no computers, no email, no text messages, no
Yes.
SMS, no Zoom calls, no nothing. I had a black binder with they give you the lead on paper, and you wrote down the notes, and you flip to the next one, and we were pounding between 110 to $100 a day.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if you were good, I mean, my neck probably still have problems because that's what I like this all day, just on the phone. And then we finally got headsets. When you finally made some money, you got a headset. And when I got that, it was awesome because then I could just play with a ball while I'm talking to you, you know. And we had the mute button, and then guys would jump in and listen and tell you what to say. It's called, you have a takeover.
Yeah.
It became a game when you sitting on the floor of 125 professional salespeople on the phone. It was phenomenal learning experience. I did that for about 5 years, and then from that you could sell anything. I mean,
Yes.
and then we were so scripted, not scripted, but the sales process was so tight
Uh,
that if you fell off in your numbers, they had no problem pulling you off the floor and just sitting you down and going, "What's going on? Like, what's
exactly.
going on? Your numbers is dropping." And then they had a recording of you, cassette tape, by the way. They
Yeah.
hit the cassette tape, and they'd be like, "Oh, you're not doing step number what? 4? See that?" And then they'll go in the back and drill with somebody, step number 4, and get back on the phone. And you realize your sales will go right back up, because you took a step out. And that's the way sales, it's a building block of making somebody to move. And so if you take a step out of that situation, it's not going to go as good. And you don't know you're doing it because you're just, until somebody comes back and tells you, "Hey, we recorded you. You're not doing this step. Why?" And you're like, "I don't know." And you're like, "Well, go back and practice it. What's going on at home, something like that. You're not focused. You're not in the game." And so that's why step number 1 is important, being prepared. Are you prepared mentally to get into the ring to start selling? If not, don't get in the ring. I would be a manager at some of my companies, and on Monday, I'd be standing there just like this, and the guys come in, and I would look at them. I'm like, where were you last night? "Oh, we out, we out did this and this and that, normal stuff." And I'm like, "You hung over." It's like, "Yeah, go home.
Yeah.
Like, just go home."
Yeah.
"Well, I just know." I said, "No, you're not coming here burning out leads, man. You need to go. You're not in the game. You're no good to me. You're no good to the client. You're no good to me. You're no good to yourself. Go home and sleep it off. Come back tomorrow."
Exactly.
Am I going to get paid? And no, you commission only. I'm just telling you, I'm not giving you leads because you're not prepared. Step number 1, you're not ready. You're not in the game.
Exactly.
Right? It's like you come to football game, you get off the bus and everything. Your running back comes over and walks over with crutches. Like, "What's this?" "Well, I fell in the shower and Doc gave me crutches. I'm spraining my ankle and I can't move." Go sit on the bench. You're not in the game.
bench, baby. That's how it was when I played basketball, man. You
Yeah,
get hurt
no good to me.
that ankle or something. Hey, you got a nice spot for you on the bench.
Exactly. You're not doing me no good. You're not doing yourself no good. You're not doing the team no good. Go sit
Exactly.
down.
Go sit down. Sit this one out.
Yeah, I do it all the time. I say, it's a waste of time hearing you on the phone with a hangover. I'm like, man, go sit down. Go sit down. Go, go sit
Slurs
down.
haven't been good to anybody.
Go sit down. Go sit down. Mr. Brown, go home. You
And
good to know.
a lot of people get mad, but you gotta understand this is a business. This not
Oh,
it's
and as a manager, you're responsible for the numbers. You're like, what happened? Send him home. You send him home. I'm like, he's no good. He's not
not
gonna do anything. He's gonna burn up leads that we might can close with somebody who's in the game.
exactly. We can't do it with somebody who playing games. That
I
you
said,
can't.
how much money you spend on those leads? I said, what do you think? I think you did the right thing. There we go.
Yeah.
I used to tell my old bosses, I love firing people. One of my old managers taught me how to fire. I'm watching them fire people every week because we were in the call center. We used to fire people every 2 weeks. We fired. If you couldn't make the grade in 2 weeks or had the talent, they would just let you go. And he had that talk a million times. My desk was near his on Friday afternoon. Everybody's going out with their big money, and this guy had been here for 2 weeks, and he think he can cut it. And the man just said, "Hey, let me sit down with you, buddy." First thing he start off, sales ain't for everyone. I was like, "Yep."
You gotta go. You about to cut them.
I'm doing you a favor. He said, I'm giving you ability to take your talent somewhere else that could be used because it's no good here.
Oh
I'm
my!
doing you a favor. I'm doing you a favor.
Oh my goodness!
The
I
whole
just
time they were there, I like you guys. You guys make a lot of money. I've been in sales before, this and that. We sitting there telling them, look, this is how we do things here. I don't know where you did sales before. This is top level sales. I said, this is the way we do things here. And that's why I tell when you train your salespeople, you want to start your own mantra, how we do things. Because if they don't do things right, they don't not accountable for that, it's time for them to go. And so the guys would get all excited and you hear them on the phone. I'm like, dude, you can't be doing that. You got to say it like this. Oh, no. Where I came from, I'm like, this cat's not gonna be here long. And by 2 weeks, you look at his board, he ain't sold nothing.
yep. Come here, buddy.
Let me tell you something. Sales ain't for everyone. That's how you start. I'm doing you a favor. I'm doing you a favor.
Oh my goodness. My first time ever having to terminate somebody in the call center. They had
Yeah.
this guy, and they used to say, they still say the same thing. That sales not for everybody. They say, but I'm gonna give you a promotion. We're gonna promote you to the unemployment line. And that's what my supervisor used to always say. We're gonna to the unemployment line. It's just like that in here.
No,
Like, whoa.
it's a numbers game.
It is, and you got to be able to create those numbers. You got to be able to get those numbers up.
Yeah.
Oh goodness, you brought back so many memories that I have pretty much allowed to lie docile in the back of my brain. Oh my goodness! Thank you, Mr. Brown.
Yeah. I tell one of my famous stories to close, the rules of sales is one of the rules of sales of what first one talk loses. You know that, right?
Yeah.
So we used to time it, how long from the time I said, so what car you want to put on? I would hit mute, play my ball, and I would wait
Uh-huh.
and wait. And my manager taught me patience, right? Listen. And my longest time between him talking and me close was 10 minutes and 30 seconds
Wow.
of dead silence on the phone. And my manager would look at me and I'd be like, is he still on? They'll look at his phone and I'll just sit there. And after 10 minutes and 30 seconds, he said, well, I still didn't say anything. 30 more seconds later, he said, let's do it. Now, if I would have said anything,
He would have just messed up the whole
or
vibe.
even if I would have said, are you still there?
Yeah. Yeah.
I would have messed up the entire house that I built. Because I said, building the sales, you build the sales like building a house, and then closes at the end. And if you mess that up, you crumble the house down. And so if I would have said anything within that first 10 minutes, 48 seconds, I would have tore everything down that I built. And people don't understand that type of discipline that you need to have in your process and believing in the process.
Yeah.
Just I'm a people person. I love it. I'm a people person. I'll
Yeah.
have guys that are introverts that will run circles around you because they listening to the steps. They go by.
Exactly.
And so yeah, I tell people that's my record: 10 minutes and 48 seconds of dead silence.
Ooh, goodness gracious. And sometimes that could seem like a whole hour.
Oh, but see the thing about it, the confidence, right?
Uh-huh.
So most people would be what? Dripping with sweat, concerned. And here I am sitting here. I had a little basketball, and I'm
Uh-huh.
sitting there throwing the basketball, and boy, catch it back. And
Yeah.
we on the phone side by side, in a room full of guys, and throw the ball, catch it back. And I'm just sitting there like, just waiting on you, buddy. I know, just waiting on you. So go ahead and say it. I know you. And we used to say things like, you hear a guy, you be talking to him, right? You get so good, you listen to the client, you hear the client like that, and you're like, man, you already got the card out. You might as well just read the numbers. You sit there tapping the card. You can hear it.
Yeah, yeah.
Wasting each other's time. Go ahead. What the first number starts with a 4. What's the second one? 3, 7. Let's
Right.
go.
Let's get it. Let's get
So
it.
being a good salesman is knowing that you're fixing a problem and giving them that little push that they need to convince themselves, depending on the price point. People need a little, excuse me, need a little encouragement. Yeah, and that's why people say, "Oh, you tricked them into it." No, if you know they need it and you're doing for sales, some people need that extra little push to get over, and that's what a good salesperson does.
Exactly.
But if they came in and lied down, you're just an order taker. And some people think they're great salespeople when they're actually order takers. You're
Yeah,
just taking orders. They already want it. And I don't know why you think you good. They just
exactly.
call you up and give you the stuff. Oh, I'm the best salesman in the. You're
I told
selling oxygen to people that have no air, man. Come on, dog.
you. So tell me this. You made me think about something else.
Mhm.
How do you go about your process if they may not say anything, but you can recognize it if you're actually selling a product to another salesman?
How do I know?
Right. Well, how do
Because
you, but how, not only how do you know, but how would you continue to make your sale with that person?
well, the first thing I teach in sales is never assume anything.
Mhm.
Right? A pitch is the pitch.
Exactly.
Right? No matter who it is, the president of the United States or a 3-year-old child.
Yeah.
Same thing, right? And you're focused on listening to whatever they do. And most of the time, if you're doing that, sales is like a piece of art.
Uh-huh.
When it's done right, it's a beautiful thing. The reason you know you're a good salesman is in the end, you get some people will buy and some people won't buy, and the people that won't buy will give you a compliment,
Uh-huh. Yep. They
especially
sure.
from another salesperson.
Yep. Yep.
And then the second thing, what's the second thing you think they're gonna ask you?
A reference.
Oh, they're gonna ask you how long have you been there?
Yeah. There. Well,
Or-
definitely.
And
Definitely.
then the next thing they probably ask, are you happy there?
Yeah. 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 They just now they telling on themselves.
Now they want to hire you.
Yeah. They telling on themselves big time. Because Because if you're not happy there, then guess what? I got a spot for you over
I said you could make me more happy by reading off the first number of the credit card. Oh, you could.
here. Exactly. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Yep. Having
That is
fun with it.
that is awesome. So even though you're doing your sales, um, what has been some of your best days, like best sales? What time frames of the year are sales usually best in your business?
Oh, as far as coming from the performance coach type deal,
Uh-huh.
um, this time of the year because people are more depressed.
All right.
They need help. Around about November, December is end of the year. People realizing the numbers are not what they're supposed to be. They have a goal that they want to push into. They want to do better next year. It's like the people that want to go to gym. People reconsider a lot of things during the holidays. They
Yeah.
realize either I got too much family, I got too little family. I'm too fat, I'm too big. I'm not as funny as I think. I'm not as warm as I like to be, or I'm lonely, which a lot of people are lonely during this time of the year. So people just need like I said, most of the time I have to take people and work on their personal um, mentality first before I can train them to see where they're at, to see if
Right.
they're ready to do it, or if they did it, what stopped them from doing it the first time.
Right.
You know, and that's the difference that I provide is analyzing your personal performance and seeing if I can improve that. And if I can, I don't work with you. My biggest thing is step number 10. No, step number 9 is getting the sale. Step number 10 is getting a referral. And you can only do that when you work with people that you help.
Right.
So what I teach people, the sale is not done until you get a referral or testimony.
Mhm.
Period.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
if you do that, your business will automatically grow because most people don't do that. 90% of companies don't insurance companies do,
Uh,
right? They're always asking you who else, insurance company, that's how they make their money. That's their process, right? Telemarket, network marketing. That's what they do. They
indeed.
spend the advertising dollar with a rep. Instead of spending it on advertising, they spend it with the people who bought the products and give them a little piece of it to go find somebody else to do it. And that's how it works.
Right.
You sell the customer to sell other customers. That's
Right.
network marketing. It's genius. So
Yes,
that's
it.
why you don't see Amway on a billboard or any commercials because it's all people. Mary Kay, same thing. You see the pink car, but they don't have to advertise because it's all done through networking, right?
Uh,
So that's a form of sales.
yeah.
And then you have like the stockbrokers, you have the cold callers, you have the indirect callers, you have all these different types of sales. So everybody needs some type of help every now and then to understand what they're doing wrong because you will fall off. It's up and down business, as you know. So I have customers I worked with 3 years ago that called me up and get back into the program a little bit just to get back into it. They fell off. It's just part of life.
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
if you are alone and don't ask for help, it's just your fault.
Yeah, that's true. That is so true. There's
And
too
most
much.
people most people won't ask for help. And most people know that the first thing you have to do when you invest or you start working or you start becoming an entrepreneur, the first thing you need to invest in is not a website. You need to invest in yourself, right?
Yeah.
So you need to hire a mentor. People don't know. I'll figure it out. It's hard figuring it out.
Yes, it is.
I've been in entrepreneur since 2002. I'm probably right now on my ninth or 10th mentor.
Uh-huh.
That you get one that takes you to this level, and you just keep, and that's the way you have to be. You cannot do it alone. So people, and then you got to be willing to invest thousands. You already gave your money to college. What did you get from that? A bill.
That's it. That's it.
So when I tell people my prices, they're like, dude, I'm like, I'm going to make you money. My job is make you money. I'm not going to sit here and play with you or have you in class
Exactly.
giving you theory. We're going to sell some products. That's why I'm not a marketer. I'm not those guys, oh, I can get you 3 or 4 more leads. Can you close the leads?
Right. Exactly. Oh my goodness, I totally agree with you,
Yeah, you
man.
got leads. Can you close them? You can't
Exactly.
close them. I don't know why you need more. Then they go, we need more leads. Yeah, because you can't close them.
We can't do every step for you, and then all you have to do is go in there and have them to sign the documents. No, if that's
No.
the then I'll pay you um 10 cents for each document that you get signed, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah.
Let's see how you feel about your commission then.
Yeah.
My goodness. Mr. Brown, this has been wonderful, man. I truly thank you for all your insight. This is wonderful, seriously, because a lot of people need this type of understanding and information. And I love my fan base because they're always looking for something financial. This has been awesome. So give us something motivational, or give us um, something that implements the betterment of our businesses.
Yeah. So what you have to do is one of my models that I use is you have to move and get out of your own way. You have to move and get out of your own way. And so most people don't want to move. And so hold on one second. Daddy, wonderful, wonderful. My 95-year-old daddy, I came home to help him out. He's recovering from the pneumonia and COVID for the second time. This rascal is tough. And he just
That's
walked in, and he's recovering. He's got his appetite back. So he's rolling. He's my dad. So I flew in this weekend. I'm at
it.
my house in South Carolina from Florida. So I came home. He just wheeled himself up. He's moving around. So he's getting himself back. So you'll hear him. You good? All right, I'll be in 1 minute. I'll get your socks on. I gotta put on socks. I do everything. So
It's
anyway, you gotta move and get out of your own way. You
yes,
have to you have to understand that you got to, you need help. And when people reach out, I got a question. I'm like, you have to invest in yourself. Nobody's gonna do it for you. So you take that 5, 6, $7,000 you would spend on a website, and get a mentor to save you the time and the months, weeks, or years that you would have to figure things out on your own, and pay somebody. And that's what I tell you, got to pay to play.
yes,
You got to
yes,
pay to play. And
yeah.
people don't want to pay. They think they can figure it out. And I'm like, yeah, well, you charge too much. I'm like, I'm going to make you thousands of dollars, and skill that I'm going to teach you carries over into life, and everything that you use is about sales. Sales
Yeah.
is everywhere. So, that's the thing about it. And most of the people that I work with, I generate easily between 20 to 60% more. But
Awesome.
I interview them to make sure that's optimal. I'm not
Right.
going to work with somebody who I don't see the potential in that and just take their money. I don't do that.
Yeah.
So, that's the difference that I provide in everybody else. I'm able to see it. I'll tell them, and here's the price, and you got to pay, because you got to understand. What people say, why you got to pay? You got to pay attention.
Exactly.
Because I used to do this for free, and nobody would show up, and I'm like, what is? And my boy's like, my mentor's like, you got to charge them, and I'm like, why so much? And it's like, because you need to make it hurt for them to, so they can start paying attention. If they don't pay, they don't pay attention. So if you're dropping one of my programs for 3 months is $7,500, right? But you get me one-on-one, like going through it with you, right?
Right.
And for a year, it's like 20 grand. And so that, when I tell you we have to show up for that meeting, and we do this once a week, you're going to show up,
Yes. Yes, indeed. As
right?
you invested, and now you understand that this is where I need to be.
And one of my mentors taught me that. I'm like, you're like 10 grand. He's like, yeah. He said, so you're going to need to pay that. And I'm like, well, can I do payments? It's like, no. It's like, this is the way I work. Hey, you pay 10 grand, we start working together. He said, I used to do that. I used to be just like you. And then people wouldn't pay and all this kind of stuff, because if you know it works, you charge. And the
Exactly.
same thing I'm gonna tell them when I teach them. It's
Exactly.
time to up the prices. It's time to stop playing with people, because you only have X amount of time on this planet.
Exactly. That is so true. That is so true. So you
So if
might as
you're not selling, you're wasting people's time. So you need to sell so you can get on to your family life and have a good life.
may as well make it work.
Yeah,
Make it make it work and make them work.
make them work. Yeah, I can't do it for you.
Yes, indeed. So tell us where we can actually find you at, Mr. Brown, because this
Oh, yeah, yeah. You can find my first of all, my book is on Amazon, Master the Art of Closing the Sale by Benjamin Brown. My main website that I have is 360 Sales Consulting. You can go on there. But for people, I'm accessible. So meetwithbenjamin.com, and that where you can click on that URL and you can schedule a call. And I tell people, here's my phone number, 863-274-3898.
yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
And I have, if I'm too busy, then I'll hire more people, as I already have enough people working for me. So, but if I get too much, I just, work with more people because I do one-on-ones, right? And that's where you get the biggest bang for the buck. It's not just reading in theory. We sit down and realize what's wrong with you. What's wrong
Exactly.
with you?
Exactly. Yes, indeed. People, make sure that you all are listening to Mr. Benjamin Brown. Go to Amazon, check out his book. Definitely go to the social media sites and the website. Check out Mr. Brown. He's the real deal, everybody. So if you want something for nothing, go find somebody else. But if you want something that's going to actually work for you, please, by all means, make sure you talk to Mr. Brown. Let's get it in. Let's make it happen. Thank you so much, Mr. Brown. It's been a blessing, man. It's been a true blessing. So for all my people out there, you know how we do this. Peace and blessings. And we out of here.